Tuesday, July 26th, East China School District Board of Education meeting. If everybody would please stand for a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to make a small amendment to tonight's agenda and include a discussion item after item 5, recognition of persons wishing to address the board. So this would be in addition an item 6 for a technology department update. If I could please have a motion.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, great. So item number 6 will be a technology department update, and then item 7 will be closed session, and then 8 will be an adjournment. Thank you. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is items of interest, recognition, and inquiry, Board of Education members. Anybody have anything? Nope.
No.
Mrs. Cybula.
I'm all set as well.
Okay, all right. So now we will move on to our organizational items. We can click right through these. A motion will be needed on all of these items. The first one is the appointment of the executive secretary per administration's recommendation. The Board of Education approves Superintendent Suzanne Cybula as executive secretary to the board and directs that she post proper notice of all meetings as given.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Per administration's recommendation, the Board of Education approves Thrun Law Firm as legal counsel.
So moved.
Support.
Comments or questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Per administration's recommendation, the Board of Education designate the Times Herald and the Voice for public notices.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The administration is recommending that the board authorize the Director for Finance as designated agent of the treasurer to invest surplus funds of the district in accordance with Act 87 of the Public Acts of 1979, following generally accepted business practices and in the best interest of the district.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. The administration is recommending that for the 2021-22 fiscal year, the board shall not require payment of interest earned on taxes collected on behalf of the school district by the various municipal units of the district, provided such taxes collected are remitted on the following schedule. 1. Detroit Edison property taxes remitted upon receipt. 2. All other property taxes remitted bi-weekly.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The administration is recommending that the following institutions be designated as official depositories of the district and that the individuals holding the positions named be authorized as signatories on each account as listed.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. And the last one, per administration's recommendation, the Board of Education adopts a regular meeting schedule as shown on page 5.
So moved.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on into our consent agenda. A motion is needed for the approval of minutes from our regular Board of Ed meeting on June 28th, the approval of payment of bills, the financial statement, schedule of investments, appointment of new teachers, and teacher reductions.
So moved.
Support. Any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Our next item is recognition of persons wishing to address the board. I have one green card this evening. Did anybody else want to submit a green card? Okay, Jessica Holcomb.
Hi again, guys.
Hello.
I just want to say a couple things. I know that a lot of parents didn't show up today, but we still have a lot of support. It's kind of reiterating some of the stuff that we've already said. Basically, we do want to thank you guys for working well with us and for the latest announcement this recently that, you know, you guys weren't going to be forcing the masks and all of that stuff, so we do appreciate that. We do want to also acknowledge that there is a Delta variant going around, and the CDC, the AAP, the health departments, all the government agencies are, you know, recommending masks on children 2 years old and up, and our stance on this has not changed. We still want masks to be optional for our children. We want to hope that you guys will keep your word about the masks, and remind you also that last year there were no public health orders by the health department, and those were choices. I know that they were saying that, you know, these are requirements and this and that, but they did not have any public health orders. So if they do that again this year, we want you guys to stand with the parents and make it optional. We also want to remind you that we still have legal counsel retained, and we are still against the funding from the state for the weekly testing and the clinical advisory aides, I think is what they were calling them, in the schools, like the nurses doing testing and educating about COVID-19. So that's all I had to say. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to item 6, and that is our technology department update. Mr. Craig Headley.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me spend just a couple minutes to give you an update on a couple of the big projects that I kind of got blindsided on last week and had to work through. Nothing new when I talk about the semiconductor or the chip shortage going on in the United States and really throughout the world. I thought we were going to be okay with that, but apparently we are not. So last week, just a couple things, and we're working through it. Last week, I was in a virtual meeting with our network provider, and you know, just a simple conversation of, hey, I want to order a couple extra network switches for the stadium. I have some flexibility things I want to do, and they're like, yeah, we can order switches for the stadium. But the problem is, anything new as of right now is on a 24-week back order log. Wow. Which is 6 months. And so I'm like, okay. So that meeting changed from, well, that wasn't the bad news, because the good news is there was a worry that we were not going to receive the switches that we already ordered back in May that the board approved. The good news is those came in. So they said, well, Craig, before we go any further, let's give you the bad news, which is the switches are in, but the wireless network, the access points in the wireless network is on back order until November. So the meeting quickly changed from, hey, what is exactly our timeline and what are we going to do and what do we need to do, to, okay, how are we going to make this work? So through a long afternoon and a good conversation, we have a good plan. We are moving forward. We have to install our new network switches. We are going to install our new network switches. But what we have to do is run a dual network, keep our old network for the wireless until all the new wireless stuff comes in. I think this vendor was kind of blindsided as well, but I just want to encourage the board that, you know, the important equipment's coming in November when the wireless stuff comes in. We'll get that installed. So that was Wednesday. So let's talk about Thursday. So then Thursday I get an email. One of the projects that I'm excited about, because I've been working with, and you guys have heard me over the last few years, the new scoreboard for the stadium. You know, that has been giving us trouble for years now. So I got an email on Thursday from our project manager about the new scoreboard. Craig, the chips aren't going to come in. I mean, I've been told that delivery date is going to be the first week of August. So I get an email, Craig, the new chips aren't coming in. We most likely will miss installation. We know how important your first game is, but we will most likely miss, you know, without the chips here, we can't install a scoreboard. So that was Thursday. So I was on the phone all day. Friday, we kind of have a plan, and I kind of put the analogy of how, you know, Ford is building cars and they're putting cars in parking lots, you know, and when the chips come in, they put the chips come in and they try and get the cars back, you know, out to the dealers for sale. So I came, you know, after some conversation, I said, what do we have done with the scoreboard? It's all we're waiting for is the new modules, the new chips, and they said yes. So we're trying to get as much of the equipment shipped here on site as possible. Now the new scoreboard's coming from South Dakota, that's why I want to have it on site. Talked to a couple people. When the chips come in, hopefully, and it might be last minute, it might not, we can actually finish building the board here and get it installed. You know, that was my second disappointment. You know, we have a plan in place. We're going to try it. We're going to try to work through our plan. You know, we all know if we try to order an appliance, we try to, you know, this is where we're at.
Is our old scoreboard in working condition if we don't have the new one? Because I know there were
Yes.
some glitches with it.
Yeah, so honestly, you know, being in this business for a long time and knowing about the chip shortage, we know about the old Chromebooks or the Chromebooks when we first, you know, were told to stay home and we couldn't get Chromebooks. My gut told me, let's make sure we're still okay. So we have a lot of work going out there to accommodate the new scoreboard. We got a lot of power upgrades, a lot of conduit being run. But I said, you know, let's wait before we tear everything
Yeah.
apart. So we did just enough work to whereas I can undo that work, and we could have the old scoreboard work. We're not going to be without a scoreboard.
Okay.
We won't be without a sound system, but it's really going to be kind of a last minute. Let's just hope this happens. But I just want to let the board know that if they don't, that's why, and that's what's holding them up. So, you know, and then it makes me think in the future. We have a plan next year: new copiers, new security cameras, new PA and clock systems. You know, who knows where we're going to be, you know, when we order that. You know, things I've read over this last week, they say fourth quarter this year, it's supposed to lighten up and get a little better. They said, but it's not going to smooth out as far as the chips in the actual, you know, supply chain, probably till first quarter of 2022. So, yeah, I'm smiling. You know, I felt bad because I had to email Suzanne on Friday, and I was like, oh, this is not good. But anyway, you know, that's where we're at.
Craig, last year you couldn't get Chromebooks from A, so you got them from B out in New Jersey, you said. Although the board has approved that we get it from, I don't remember the name of the vendor, but that vendor, can we look at other vendors who may have some stockpile?
They won't have them. Yeah, they
Nobody-
won't have them.
nobody
Yeah,
has 'em.
for the equipment is specific to you know, specific equipment, and this is a tier 1 gold standard vendor, one of the top sellers in the country. They're just not going to be available. I mean, that's a great thought, but they're just not going to be. So, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's the update. So we'll see. We're going to stay positive. You know, we have a plan.
Well, we're not going to hold you to those dates.
Eh,
I mean, you know, I'm sure that they're hoping that'll be those
Yeah.
dates,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
We
Like I
don't
said, if we can
know.
get all the components here, I mean, there's a lot of things that still need to be installed yet. So, you know, we're hoping. Okay.
thank you, Craig.
Good.
Thank you for
Thanks for
everything
all
you
your
do,
hard
Craig.
work.
Yeah, thanks for all your work. Okay, so
Okay.
wraps us up. Now, we need to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing negotiations. So a motion is needed that the Board of Education goes into closed session pursuant to Section 8C of the Open Meetings Act 267 of 1976, that being for board discussion connected with the negotiations of a collective bargaining agreement.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll move into closed session, and when we come back, we have nothing else on our agenda, so we'll just be adjourned.